Scoundrels web series and podcast is filmed and recorded in their ship, the Centurion Vulture, and may contain language not suitable for all. Viewer discretion is advised.
How's it going, y'all? We are Scoundrels. My name is Chris Gingrich.
I'm Paul Bannister.
Curtis Wayne Millard standing by.
We are three grown-ass men who get together to talk about Star Wars. Today?
Today's the day we do it.
Yeah.
Today is the first episode, official episode, where we dive into a single topic, and we decided we're going to go with the sequel trilogy.
Sir.
It seems like an odd start, you think in the grand scheme of Star Wars. But really, I think it's a good topic because it's the rebirth of the franchise.
Yeah.
It's the first live-action feature since the prequels.
I remember watching the trailer for when the trailer dropped for Force
Oh my
Awakens,
God,
and
those
you realized that
fucking
you were
trailers.
watching the first trailer for the first new Star Wars story, because we've been over this. I personally, fuck the prequels, they don't exist. So I had a genuine reason to be excited. There's a new team, fresh blood working on it, like, oh shit, are we going to do this?
And I think everyone was, I think a majority of people were on your side. It's like, okay, there's a big burden on this one.
Yeah.
Not a lot of people love the sequel or prequels.
Yep.
And that first trailer was amazing. And then J.J. Abrams, what I liked about J.J. Abrams doing it was like, I was never a big Star Trek fan.
Yep.
I don't know if y'all were. The only Star Trek things I like were the OG William Shatner ones that were kind of goofy.
Like from the 60s or whatever?
Yeah.
Maybe even the 50s.
Yeah, they were great. But when I went to go see his Star Trek movies, I was like, these are really good.
They felt like a fucking Star Wars movie.
I was like, this fucking thing plays like a Star Wars
Totally.
film.
Exactly.
100%.
But he took things from the original Star Trek that I liked.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, if he's doing Star Wars, then he's going to appease us OG fans.
I think those movies were a big part of why people like us were hyped for him to do that. Because I agree with you. I've never been mad at Star Trek.
Yeah.
But I don't give
Never
a
got
shit.
into it.
It doesn't speak to me, really.
Nah.
But, for Christ's sake, you remember that scene where the Beastie Boys Sabotage is playing and it's young Kirk riding that fucking motorcycle?
Yeah,
it's like,
sick.
this is Star Trek?
Yeah.
Beastie Boys? Like, this is a whole different vibe for that shit, which was great. I know the Star Trek purists probably.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but I imagine that community screamed at each other about those
sure.
movies. Maybe they still are.
Did Star Trek people like those flicks?
Good question. If you're a Star
That's a
Trek
good
fan,
tra-
comment
yeah.
and tell us what you think.
Because
I know that non-Star Trek people did.
I did not like Star Trek, and I love those movies.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
But that first trailer, Force Awakens, I when I'm thinking about it now,
Yes.
I get chills. And
Yeah.
Dude,
it's
those
like,
fucking trailers, all of them are
The way the
fucking
Falcon
sick.
went up and the
Oh.
fucking music swelled. Oh, yeah.
it was beautiful. But we are calling this episode The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. And I think for me, with this sequel trilogy,
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, that's good.
There's so many moments that I really like.
Yeah.
And there's so many moments that are just like, why? And I think for me, the big disappointment was they didn't have a grand plan for the trilogy. They admitted to that. And I think...
They admitted it?
Yeah. Well, Rian Johnson had no idea Palpatine was coming back. Even Abrams didn't know Palpatine was
Well, that
coming
wasn't
back.
very apparent.
Yeah.
It was fucking blatant.
Yeah.
These motherfuckers had
6
no clue
minutes,
what they
like,
were doing.
oh, by the way, Palpatine's back and he's the bad guy. It's like, what the like everyone's looking around the room like, really? Okay, I guess this is where we're going.
Well, I think the main thing he wrote on, I think it felt more like I'm gonna write on nostalgia.
Yeah.
Like I'm gonna do things that people are gonna like, but the Force Awakens, I think was a great movie.
Hell yeah.
It was a great fucking flick.
Yeah, and I watched I haven't actually watched all three since they came out. I remember seeing all three in the theaters, but this was the first time I was like, I came at it with an open mind. All right, I'm gonna just I'm gonna forget everything I know, but I knew knowing all the information, like Palpatine's coming back. I know this is gonna happen. It was the first time I watched it straight through. And it's like the first one is really good. Force Awakens feels good. But I think you start feeling like they're kind of writing on the fly here. And you really feel that in Rise of Skywalker.
100%.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's definitely some problems with Force Awakens. However, it was almost an impossible task.
Correct.
Yes.
Agreed.
So considering, hindsight's 2020, and you can look and be like, I don't know why they did this and why they did that. But
Yeah.
like, considering that I don't say no one, but a lot of people dislike the fucking prequels.
Yeah.
So they needed to A, start all this new shit, and B, like, make it feel like Star Wars again and not make it suck. I don't know. Like, just the list of things that they had to accomplish.
Totally.
Oh, yeah.
And you nailed it. When you said it felt like Star Wars, it was the first time since the original trilogy anything had been released in the Star Wars world that actually felt like I was watching a Star Wars moment.
Yeah.
Because like I know the animated series came out in between those, but I don't.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't watch, like, I hate saying it, probably gonna get all that shit. I don't watch cartoons. It's like, I'm an adult who still like fantasizes about Star Wars.
Yeah.
So I already feel like it. I don't need to watch cartoons to make me feel more. But it's like, I was like, so Force Awakens takes place 30 years, I think.
Yeah,
That's
that
a good
sounds-
fucking question.
That sounds right.
But like, I noticed in the writing, it's very like, it's like you said it last time, fantastic filmmaking with a not such a good story. And I was like, man, they really recycled a lot of things. It's like, even like, okay, the opening sequence, we got these, instead of plans, it's map to Skywalker. Got to put him in the droid. Droid goes to a sand planet of Jakku, gets fined by this little savant, and then like
That is
decides she doesn't want to leave her home, just like Luke. Well, I can't leave. And so it's like,
That was the big
that
criticism,
whole,
right? Yeah.
Even it happens through I think the first two movies where it's like so recycled. It's like, okay, I know what you're trying to do. I think you're trying to appease the Star Wars fans by making a similar story and this similar feel to it, but it was too much. Like the droid with the plans getting, or like to Skywalker, and then even when they destroyed the planet killer at the end, it's like
Star Killer Base was like almost like they were like.
Well, they acknowledge it too, because aren't there moments of dialogue? I mean, doesn't Han say that in
like
Force Awakens? They're like, there's always a way to blow it up, right? They clearly knew that was going to be an obvious criticism if people wanted to rip it up. Is like, well, you just rehashed A New Hope. For me personally, like, you're right. They're completely rehashing A New Hope. I think people like me that felt so fucking assaulted by the prequels that I'll take a well-made New Hope rehash over someone who's going to try to reinvent Star Wars. Like, there is an argument that I can understand that you could have got the best filmmakers in the world and had a whole new vision and an idea for Star Wars. But that seems even more risky to me, because if you get it wrong when you try that, then we're not even making Star Wars movies anymore.
Yeah.
And you're like, you know what I mean?
They almost had to do that considering like what needed to be accomplished.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They needed to get all us motherfuckers back on board, even if it was like fan service.
But some of that shit, The Force Awakens is like stacked with moments that gave me all those goosebumps. Like when Han is talking about how like Han does this, it's real, the Force, all of it. I used to think it was mumbo jumbo, and the music's going. And I'll say this: my biggest thing about the sequels that they nailed, and I agree with you. The story was all over the map. That was clearly the fundamental failing. But the new characters are fucking great. Yes. And I cared about what happened to them. They had good chemistry together. Poe and Rey and Finn.
Yeah.
All of those characters were genuinely great. And I really was invested. And it's an obvious statement to say that's important to a movie, that you have to care about the characters, but in such a beloved franchise. And when you're going to put Han and Leia and Chewie and the droids, and you're going to put us in an environment with the characters we already love, to have the new ones still carry their weight is not an easy task. No. And I feel like you got to give Abrams and the whole crew major props for creating new like heroes in Star Wars that you fucking root for and you're emotionally involved in their story. That's fucking tough.
That was a note I made. I was like, I love the new characters. Yep. I love their chemistry.
Yep.
I love the idea of Stormtrooper turning. I know they made the note of like, oh, we don't use clones anymore.
Yep.
I love that storyline.
Yep.
But you're right. Their chemistry together was very well done.
Even when Rey's not involved, like the bromance between Poe and Finn feels legit. Like they're genuine buddies, and it seems that way.
Yeah.
It was so funny because it's and it happened so quickly. But I was like, yeah, of course. Like this is and like Abrams did a very good job. It's like because I was very committed to the characters. and I loved all the new characters. I was a little, peeved that they kind of wrote off. Not they didn't write off the old characters, but there were certain times where I was like, well, you got to give them a little bit. Like when after Han died, spoiler alert. And when they came back in the Falcon, and it was Chewie and Rey, but Leia walks past Chewie and go to Rey, and I was like, well, I mean,
how about your boy Chewie?
How about you? So, and I understand the passing of the torch.
Saved y'all's ass in fucking Cloud City.
This Perry motherfucker that saved your life like a dozen times.
Yeah, and they were best friends. It's
turned
like
up
Han
in
and
fucking
Chewie were
Jabba's
best friends.
fucking hospitable palace.
Totally.
You think the person would be grieving more? So it was like, oh, Rey, but it's like Chewie just lost his best friend.
Yeah, come on.
There's a little criticism.
That was the one thing I was like, and it was so weird where it's like literally just walked past her.
Yeah,
and it was like, I wasn't into that.
That felt weird.
Honestly, if I didn't know about The Last Jedi or like, what an unbelievable start to a trilogy.
Yeah.
I remember afterwards, I was like, well, yes, I'm invested. Even
I was like,
end,
they rehashed it. Yeah, it was a rehash. Yeah. But I was like, but it felt like Star Wars, like Paul said. And I was like, that's dope. Now we can start experimenting a little bit.
Yeah.
Now we can kind of go in, and they went in and they experimented with Empire Strikes Back.
Yeah.
And, a lot of people didn't love that at first, but, and now, ironically.
Is that true? It didn't necessarily.
When they first came out, people were, because it was a lot different than Star Wars.
Certainly
and,
a bummer ending, too, compared to.
Yeah, dude lost his hand.
Yeah.
Maybe he's his dad. Everyone got their ass whooped.
Right. I love the idea. It's like, you don't
Han
always win.
is possibly fucking dead. Who
right.
knows?
Oh, yeah, right.
And now we got to wait a really long time with no internet to figure that out.
Yeah.
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
I got 3 years to just fucking wonder.
Yeah, just sit and wonder. But I was like, cool, you guys, it's Star Wars. We're back on track. Now let's maybe experiment a little bit, and whether or not they experimented too much.
Yeah, I mean, this is maybe where it starts to fall apart, right?
Oh, yeah.
I think I'm different from y'all in that you guys are a bit more bummed on Last Jedi than I am. I personally feel like 50% of that movie I really enjoy. Yeah. I think half of it sucks. I don't personally have a problem with the Luke storyline. I think the idea that he is skulking off, wallowing in his own failures and self-pity and hiding. I mean, Obi-Wan, Yoda kind of seems like a Jedi tradition is to to fail and then run away and hide somewhere where no one finds you for a long time. Like that's basically until some Jedi rolls up and is like, hey, excuse me, I need to learn how to use the Force.
Oh yeah.
Isn't that kind of what's happened all
Yeah, well, and it's true. It's a good point too. It's where
I'm actually okay with it.
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
A lot of
redemption
people were
was whack.
They were
the redemption, but I was okay because it's like, well, he did okay, I'm in charge of starting the Jedi again, and I royally screwed it up.
Yeah.
So I need to bounce.
Yeah.
Right. But I'm gonna just say some things about the Force, like the TIE. Like there's some scenes about the Force Awakens, and I don't want to jump into the Last Jedi. The TIE when there's moments where it's like I think as Star Wars fans, like I've always wanted to see that.
Yep.
When Poe flies the TIE fighter.
Yep.
I was like, fuck yeah.
Yep. Nailed it.
So there's some moments the Falcon reveal was unbelievable.
Oh yeah,
sick.
That thing's junk.
Like, I don't want. And then we're gonna have to take the junk, and it was
that was fucking genius.
Smart, super smart.
And Han and Ford his revamp of Solo was good, and he's always wanted him to die. He wanted him to die in Empire. He did.
Yeah,
that's probably how they got his old ass back. They were like, "We're gonna kill you, dude, and you're gonna get a lot of money."
Yeah,
he's like, "I'll do it."
Yeah. I suspended my belief with it, because it's like at first how good Rey was at everything, like right off the gun, like she could without real we knew Luke was a good fighter because Beggar's Canyon, but when she was flying the Falcon and doing, I was like, man, how is she this good at flying?
She was good at everything, though. That's kind of a
but
weird
I was
thing.
like, okay, but we got to keep the story. We've seen the storylines, but we got to keep it moving. So I did. I was okay with that.
I thought it seems interesting. I didn't even register that based on the way Star Wars has worked in the past. Like you're right, they reference things with Luke, and that's why he knows shit. But in the first 10 minutes, what I know about Rey is she's on her own. She scavenges parts, so she has to know enough about tech and know-how and this, that, and the other. And she clearly can fight and can ride one of those fucking speeders. In my head, like in the world of Star Wars, that might as well make her a fucking aerospace genius.
She was kicking ass before Luke was kicking ass, so it's like before she got training and knew about it, she was already pretty badass.
And and the difference is Luke had like 2 loving adults that were raising
That's
him.
true.
This girl's fucking on her
Yeah.
own, like basically a homeless person in the desert.
It does
You
help
know.
to have good parents.
Yes.
Yeah, right, exactly. Even if they're homicidal maniacs.
I wasn't like the Millennium Falcon was like, yeah, whatever. But like her holding her own against Kylo was a little strange to me.
Yeah.
In hindsight, when I was watching the flick, I was just like, man, this is dope.
Yeah.
I think you're right, because I mean, we talked about it in the last episode. That scene where she pulls the saber
Yeah.
is one of my favorite moments.
That's fucking sick.
And not just in the sequel trilogy, in all of Star Wars.
Yeah.
And you're right. It's a little bit, when you start to think about it, how is she
You
this
got a
good?
fully trained.
I just didn't
Yeah.
give a fuck
That's
because
true.
it
I didn't
felt
care either.
so good.
Yeah.
I was so goosebumped and fucking jacked
John
on that.
Williams.
Yes.
and he
just
did do a good
inserting-
job
Totally.
of like make because Ren gets hurt.
Yeah.
Kylo Ren gets hurt.
That's
so
true.
that was a smart like. So maybe
Yeah.
he's.
Oh
and
yeah,
maybe
you're
he's-
right. He is wounded.
And
Right.
he was also probably the only badass out there. So maybe he was like, sometimes when you're not tested,
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
it's
true.
like it's like the
yeah,
what
who's
is
he
it?
practicing with?
Yeah, the Rocky 3 thing. It's like, yeah, if you're fighting bums, you feel like a badass. But if someone else comes with,
He ain't got no sparring
yeah,
partners.
he's got no
He is
sparring-
kind of painted as a Vader wannabe.
wannabe. Yeah,
Right.
Also, right? Kind of
yeah,
like
and he's conflicted too.
he's more like Vader cosplay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's pretty funny how much he loves Vader and how much.
His little temper tantrums where he rips up sections of the ship.
If your
with his
grandpa
saber.
was Hitler, you'd be like, yeah, man,
Yeah, cool.
Right.
I'm down with this dude.
Oh man.
Uh,
But diving into The Last Jedi, and you're right, it's like Ryan Johnson. I love his directing.
Same.
That's
He's a
actually
good
George Lucas's
filmmaker.
favorite of the trilogy.
Oh, is that true? I did not
he,
know that.
he said out of the three, that's his favorite.
Who said that?
George Lucas.
That
Interesting.
makes sense. I mean, because he did
he
experiment.
loves experiment and he loves
probably-
new
He
characters.
probably
loves
loved all
pissing
that
people
bullshit.
off.
He
that,
loves pissing people
that
off.
bullshit Canto Bite shit that seemed right out of a prequel. No wonder
Dude,
Lucas
oh
liked
yeah,
that dog
that was
shit.
very prequel.
I
I
love
have a
the-
take
yeah.
on Ryan Johnson. He's a fucking amazing filmmaker. He's almost maybe too good of a filmmaker to be fucking with Star Wars.
Or they shouldn't. Then you get into like. Someone needed to oversee the story for all three. Like
Yes.
maybe
Yeah.
if Ryan Johnson was in charge of the whole trilogy, he could have crushed it. But
Yeah.
you can't take even the best filmmaker in the world and say, "Hey, you get to make the
Yeah.
middle story of a trilogy." But also, by the way, we're
Yeah.
not going to tell you what comes after.
right.
It sort of
was
seems
bad.
like he was set up to fail. A
He
little
did
bit.
say recently, and I don't have, we need to fact check this, but he said he wished he could have tested it. But you can't really test Star Wars without
No,
it.
yeah,
But you
okay.
could get a fucking, you can figure a way
Yeah,
out.
but nerds like us are such pricks. Like we're gonna rip some of it to shreds any way you slice
yeah.
it. you
But
know?
there's some big ass things though, man.
yeah.
Well, I love what.
But it's an impossible task.
Yeah.
I don't think I'd want it.
Well, you're also handcuffed in Star Wars writing with like if you follow George Lucas's lore and how there can only be one,
Yeah.
Sith, and there's always a master apprentice. But it's like that. I think the biggest note I made at the end was, this could have been unbelievable.
Yeah.
If they just because it's like the characters are good, and
Yeah.
I think if they actually, I don't know if it was ego, they're like, oh, we'll just
Yeah.
go with the flow. But I just feel like if they had, even if it was just a basic structure of like, okay, this is what we need to do here, and this we know, like, if I'm not mad at Palpatine coming back,
But
even though it's kind of like I know Anakin's the chosen one, it wasn't that supposed to bring balance, and,
Yeah, right.
But at the same time, I'm not mad at it, but it was
if it's planned,
yes,
if
it's
there's
planned,
foreshadowing,
yes,
Yeah,
Like-
they've been like teasing some version of Palpatine in The Force Awakens.
yes.
yeah.
It could have crushed. 'Cause
Even
the other
some
thing
shit-
and the thing that bummed me about that too is Snoke wasn't a shitty villain.
No.
And I actually
Dude,
thought
I was scared of Snoke.
totally. And Ryan
I'm scared
Johnson,
of that motherfucker now.
I know. And he kind of crushed it in The Last Jedi with that whole exchange. And like the moment, the way he is killed is really smart.
That
and fun,
scene is
and the whole scene is fucking badass.
Dude, there's some genius shit in that
It could
fucking
have been.
movie.
You're right. It's like that's what makes the sequel trilogy so confounding
Yeah.
because it's so close to being exactly what, even with all the insurmountable nerd hype of decades of wanting new Star Wars, they almost did it.
They-
They
that- yeah.
almost did it.
That was my main thing.
Yeah.
I was like, if you
The
just
parts were there.
yeah, and I
Crazy
think it's,
thing is, man,
well,
you
no,
go.
no, you go for it. No, I
I'm
was
the-
just like,
I was just gonna re-say some shit.
Oh,
so
say
you
it
should
again.
go.
oh no, I mean, it was just, I don't even know what I was gonna say, but it was just, you could really tell as the trilogy was moving forward how scrambled it became.
Yes.
I know I want to dive back into The Last Jedi, but you really felt the scrambling of writing in Rise of Skywalker.
Oh yeah.
I felt like that was like a whoa, I gotta clean
Oh,
some
dude.
stuff here. I gotta figure something. Like it was like
They didn't let you sit still long enough
No.
to figure out that they didn't know. They basically didn't have a script.
No.
Yeah.
They're like, we're just going to it's going to be pretty.
Yeah.
And we're going to raise an ass ton of hell. We're not even going to give you 1 second to breathe.
Yep.
And hopefully you don't notice.
Yeah, I made a
this
note.
thing is a piece of shit.
I made a note when I watched it that it felt like Rise of Skywalker. It felt like somewhere there existed 15 versions of this movie, and they're
Yes.
all great. But then someone chopped up all those movies into tiny pieces and then put them all in a big pot and just randomly assembled all the pieces together. Because a lot of these scenes in a vacuum work. They feel like Star Wars.
Yeah.
They're cool,
They were cool.
but in the
Exfil's
context of a
cool as fuck.
story,
Yeah.
like what the fuck is happening?
It's like the
here?
best fucking made fan film of all time.
Yeah, right.
It's like, it feels like a fan film in the fact that it's like, I don't really, it's just like a lot of
But
crazy.
some
It
of
feels
the
like a
shit
serpent.
works. Remember when you thought Chewie died in that?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And
then-
the way Rey screams was so on point because that felt like my soul
Yeah.
speaking for me.
Yeah.
It was like that genuine horrific sound. It was like, God damn it, they just fucking killed Chewie.
God damn
You got,
Chewbacca.
and like I said, I wasn't. I know the Palpatine air was kind of a stretch, but seeing the lightning come out of her hands was pretty fucking cool.
I
That
mean,
was dope.
again, all the scenes with Palpatine were also done. It looked creepy and fucking
Just
dark.
That's the one thing I was just like, why could you guys just think of the story?
Oh wait,
Dude,
I had a
there
note
was
that
a
I
moment-
wanted to ask about Rise of Skywalker. What the scene where they're rebuilding Kylo's fucking helmet or
Yes.
whatever?
Yeah.
It's a monkey. It's like a
Yeah.
chimpanzee. And as far as I can remember, is that the only time in any Star Wars movie where there's a direct reference to an actual animal that's in our world?
Good call. Probably.
Like, they
Unless you
broke a
talk
wall
about, like
with
that
that,
mouse dude in
The mouse dude that did
in the
3PO?
cantina.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. On the side note, I was like, is that John Williams as the bartender? He's the bartender in that cantina on, what is it, Karizi or Kahiki or whatever that,
Oh, which one?
in Rise of Skywalker.
If they had a
John Williams
plan.
is the bartender on Kajimi.
No shit.
I was like, I could know that motherfucker
I didn't know
anywhere.
that.
But no, yeah, it's that.
Isn't
and then,
that weird? It's just like, I mean, it's on screen for
No,
maybe 2
I actually
seconds.
thought about that, dude.
But it's so strange. And I think
well,
I
they had
know,
the horses too.
but
the
they were
space
like space
horses?
horses.
Space horse.
Yeah,
I
right.
wrote their real name down.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
can't-
fucking. It
they
makes
were-
you even more mad.
But no, that's a good
Makes
point.
you
I
even
remember seeing that
more
and thinking,
mad.
huh? But you're right. That's a. And then I also noticed in
It's such a random choice to make. Like, why does a chimpanzee need to be the thing rebuilding Kylo? I'm not mad at the choice. It just seemed bizarrely random.
Yeah.
That they just like, oh, we'll arbitrarily have a monkey be super smart monkeys are the ones doing this.
well, it's
Like,
just
what?
I don't like when they break that wall. It's they did, and I made a note in
fucking fog ears.
What?
They're called fog ears.
fog
As
ears.
in like fog in the like you can't see through the fog.
Mystic fog ears.
Like fog in an ear. I don't know, dude. That's the name of the space horse, dude. I told you.
Dude,
You'd be
when they
pissed.
were
Yeah,
when they
you're
were
right. That
galloping
does-
on that
I do hate it more now.
I'd race one right now just to make everyone
on
mad.
that Star Destroyer. I was like, that was pretty dumb.
We should
Oh,
talk about
right,
fucking
that's-
Canto Bite.
Canto. Well, here's my thing on Canto Bite. I liked the idea of it.
Same.
I like the
Same.
idea because it's usually it's like because when you think normally historically in Star Wars when they say it's got the worst people, you show up
Yeah.
at the cantina
Yeah,
in
it's a
Tatooine
good- yeah.
and it's like all these. So I love I had one of those cool like it's rich
Yeah.
disgusting
Yeah.
people. So I love that. But you're right. It gave me prequel vibes.
It wasn't. It was the execution. You're right.
Yeah.
The idea is not fundamentally flawed, and
Yeah.
I
You're
wasn't
right.
even as mad when I was just watching the interior of the casino shots
Yeah.
because you're right. It's like this high end bullshit place we've not seen in this world. So I was kind of down. But the second it turns into this, like now we're squeezing in a morality tale about the industrial military.
It felt
Yeah.
so.
Complex.
It felt so
Yes.
forced.
Yeah, it was so.
There's a way to do
forced.
it where it's like a little more.
But also, it's Star
Not
Wars,
stupid.
and like any built-in messaging in Star Wars is so basic. Like we don't need, and they
Yes.
kept doing it with what's his nuts, Benicio del Toro's character talking about like the good guys, the bad guys.
Dude,
And-
I had a.
I don't know. It was
I had
like
a thought about that, dude. Once you get done,
no, that's it. I didn't need the subtext of the industrial military complex,
Yeah.
which is clearly a commentary on our,
Yeah, I was
our
about to
world.
say, it's a-
you know?
yeah, I didn't like it.
Yeah.
Oh, so Benicio del Toro's there.
Yeah.
He's kind of, if he doesn't, people have probably talked about this a ton. I just figured it out last night. Is he kind of like a fucking callback to Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? He's in Fear and Loathing in
Yeah,
Las
yeah.
Vegas, and they're at a casino, and his character's kind of wacky, like his character
Maybe I didn't.
because
think
I
about
never
that.
even thought about
Because
that.
he doesn't really act like a Star Wars dude. It's a little annoying, and it's like I don't even know if his character is necessary.
No.
It's not necessary. Not my biggest beef. My biggest beef is the what are they, the fucking fog ears? Is that what
Yeah.
I'm saying? Whatever the fuck those things. Yeah, whatever
Yeah.
those things are. Plus, that shit bothered me. And again, the thing we just talked about in the subtext, that was more felt prequely. It felt forced. It felt like this isn't serving the plot. We just need to take this detour to show off cool shit and have another action sequence.
Well, dude, there's so little real estate in these saga movies, and to waste your time
Correct.
Yes.
at a bullshit ass operation like that and it's like your friends are about to die, they're running out of fuel, and only the fucking weight of the universe is that, and you guys are fucking with horses.
Yeah, they were moving far too slow.
Totally. I never even thought about it in that context.
Don't you have a timer?
These dickweeds are literally running out of fucking gas. Princess Leia is on a fucking ship.
Oh, don't get me
And you
started.
motherfuckers are fucking around with
I
face
know.
horses.
You're
So you
totally
have a
right.
friend that's a fucking Jedi. How about y'all go take care of business? Then take your fucking Jedi friend back with a lightsaber, and then maybe free a few of these dumbass horses. I'll even go and help y'all.
No.
Fucking-
The space dance was.
Oh yeah, we can go ahead and get into that. That's so weird. And that was one of my notes on Rise too, is
Yeah, that's
and
weird.
we talked about this in the last
Mary
episode.
Poppins.
I am admittedly hypersensitive to fucking with the core rules of the world they've created for Star Wars.
Me too, man.
And so to just be injecting new force abilities
Yes.
without context or explanation, where
Yes.
she can just like space float back in, which doesn't really explain why she had no injuries from an explosion either, by the way. But also comes back, but not enough to where she doesn't also then need to be in a coma for like another couple days. And then also the shit in Rise that I sort of forgot about till I rewatched, where now she can just heal people with their hands.
I was like, I know exactly what you're about to say.
Like
Force
that.
healing.
Again, it's not a totally off brand concept with some of the things of energy in the universe
It's big,
and nature.
though.
But that's something that needed to have been established well earlier, before she's just in the third movie all of a sudden like, let me just heal this snake. And that we're gonna do that, so it makes sense when I heal Kylo Ren later and stick my fucking tongue in his mouth.
There was some
like, what are we doing here? Come on.
Yeah, man, it's just brand new shit. It's that and like light speed ramming. It's like
Yeah.
that was pretty cool.
like
when she- when-
hyperspace skipping thing.
it was gorgeous.
Oh, the light speed skipping?
Yeah,
in
no,
Rise?
where Holdo rammed the
Yeah,
ship.
I
It's
thought
like,
that was cool as shit.
I think it is gorgeous and cool as shit, but like, why didn't we just ram the fucking first Death Star? This whole film, like Rogue One. All right, well,
That's
there's
true.
a big spaceship. Well, I got ideas, guys.
That's a good point.
If any
That
of you
is a
guys
very-
are
I
not
didn't
feeling
think-
great about the next few months of your life,
Well,
we can
that's
end
true.
this fucking bullshit.
I'm with CG. I kind of liked when it happened, but now you mentioned it,
That's
you're right.
true.
You
I
take
love
that
it.
idea back to every other Star Wars story, and it's like, just take one of your big ships, leave one kamikaze motherfucker on there, and problem
or
solved.
better yet, a
A
droid.
droid, yeah.
Oh,
you get
yeah,
a
there
droid to
you
do
go.
that.
Yeah, that's right.
So yeah, like I think it's a great moment. I
Yeah.
really do. It's just it does kind of fucking like
Pokes holes.
Yes.
yeah, it pokes holes.
Yeah.
And also, man, I feel like they could have had Akbar do that shit as a kamikaze.
They
He's just
killed,
like an
they killed
off-screen death.
Akbar like he was
He
just
had
dead.
him.
He was like, yep, Akbar's
Yeah,
dead.
y'all have no respect for
Yeah,
Akbar.
come
all of a
on.
sudden?
Shit, why wasn't he kamikazing to
Dude.
save the fucking day?
I mean, and yeah, this, and you know what she says? I forget what's her name. She becomes commander after
Holdo.
Holdo, yeah.
She says Godspeed, and that bothered me.
Yeah, what about?
And it's like it's almost like
you're
the same
right.
concept of
You're
like
attaching to the real
you're
world.
attaching. You're attaching. I was like Godspeed. I know. I'm not saying like you can't have
She's a
God in the
godless
Star
woman.
Wars, but it's like she brought in a saying. I was like, you're bringing
That's
in,
true.
you're breaking that wall.
The Force is with you, dude.
Force
or
is- yeah,
may
just
the
say,
Force be with
may
you.
the Force be with
I
you.
will say this. I like Laura Dern, and I think
I
she
love
kind
her.
of killed it in that
Oh, she
small
did.
role. In that small role, she did
Yeah.
a really good job. Because that could have been, it's not super fleshed out. They didn't develop this character. In the hands of a less adept actor,
She's a brilliant.
that could have been
Yeah.
a stupid role. But it
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
works, largely because I think the way she played it, honestly.
Anything I say about Holdo has nothing to do with you, Laura Dern. You're brilliant.
Yeah, we
Oh,
love
she's
you.
great.
We heart Laura Dern. Jurassic Park.
You're absolutely brilliant. Jurassic Park, David Lynch, everything you've done.
Yeah, we love Laura.
It was a beautiful.
Holdo made some stupid decisions.
So wait, real quick. So the Leia floating thing, even in even in this moment, help me understand what the idea is. She can.
I don't
She's
know.
just. I think that's the problem. No one
I-
really
I
fully
don't.
understands it, right?
I was trying to, because sometimes
fuck is
I'll
going on.
suspend my belief and be like, okay, well, And like I said, I came into this with an open heart. I knew everything that was going to happen, but I was rewatching it with an open heart. And that's one of those scenes where I'm just like, I just don't wrap my. It's
It
like if
doesn't
you
work.
need Leia, like
No,
if
it
the whole
doesn't.
idea is we need Leia to be out of commission so that Poe can not trust this Laura Dern character.
There's 100
There's
ways
100 different ways you
Yeah.
could go about it. She
Right.
could have gotten injured in the explosion.
Yeah.
But it's like this whole like it's space. She is human. She would have exploded.
Yeah.
And, like
I know.
it's
And I'm not, again, I wasn't mad at, some people are precious about the OG characters, but it makes sense to me that they would all be killed off in
Yeah.
this trilogy. I think that's a smart storytelling choice. I think she honestly coulda, shoulda, woulda, maybe just actually died.
Yeah,
in that
I
moment.
mean-
And that creates this like guilt complex for Kylo that feeds into his whole story arc,
Yeah, I mean-
which is that he didn't actually pull the trigger to kill his mom, didn't
Yeah.
do it, but led the attack, and that's gonna fuck with him.
That was
Well, it
my
was-
note. She died in real life, and it would have just been baller.
Yeah.
And we would have not really expected it
Yeah.
but it would have like I think he didn't do that because he wanted her to at the end to reunite with Luke in some sort of
Yeah,
way.
sure.
But it would have been baller to let her pass away because I didn't really love her character in The Rise of Skywalker.
No.
It felt a little
well because she
contrived.
was dead by then.
Well, she was-
And it was
she was
very-
actually
and,
dead,
And I think
yeah.
they had. I think the writing. I wouldn't be surprised if they had some different ideas, but because she was dead,
Yeah.
they had to
Didn't
kind of
they
adjust.
have some footage that was not used in Last Jedi that they recycled in Rise?
I think it's Force Awakens or Last Jedi or maybe even both.
Something like that,
Yeah,
right?
I know. I think she would. I think she was still alive for Last Jedi.
Yeah.
She was alive during
yeah.
the entirety
For
of the
entire-
filming.
She was dead for the entire, or maybe most of the Rise
Yeah.
of Skywalker.
I think she was.
I'm
yeah, I
pretty
don't
sure
know.
every scene with her
That's a good point.
is
Somebody else
some
should chime in the
CGI.
comments and tell
Yeah.
us that because I don't. You're right. I don't know if she died while they were shooting Rise or if she had passed away beforehand.
Well, I could see if they wanted Luke to like, okay, well, Luke's gonna die
Yeah.
in this one, so we need her for the next one. And I like there was one theme I could say that I liked about The Last Jedi, and it was like a simple, like we talk about how simple Star Wars is,
Yeah.
and there was that subtlety of like sacrifice. Everything was a lot of sacrifice, and there's a moment where Finn is charging the battering ram. And he's about to sacrifice himself for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
battering
yeah.
ram.
Oh, right,
and
right.
Rose comes in.
That was a cool theme.
That was a cool thing, but that she says something. She says, "That's how we win, not fighting what we hate,
Yeah, that's
but
right.
saving what we love."
Yeah, and I
for
dug
some-
that too.
And I
That was
thought,
good.
and that was like for me, I was like, that's
Ryan
some
Johnson.
simple Ryan, yeah, like
Yeah.
good.
That's a personal philosophy
Yeah.
of mine.
And I
Yeah.
love that, and I love that, and I loved Luke coming back. But like again, like experimenting with these Force things, it's like Luke coming back. I was like, get out
Yeah.
there and do your shit. And it means I don't understand that Force ghosts like.
Also,
how he
why
was-
when you're a Force ghost are you like? He looks like fucking Chuck Norris.
Yeah.
He's all cleaned up. He's got a haircut. Got
Yeah.
some fresh
You
robes.
can choose however you want.
Yeah,
to
I was
Yeah,
gonna
look
say,
at
did he
us,
sit and
dude.
create his avatar before he showed
Yeah.
up there?
And did I miss something with did he destroy his badass green saber after the
Ooh.
Kylo Ren thing? Because he had the Anakin saber when he went to
I
face.
think that was kind of an Easter egg. So I don't know, man. I think that green saber exists. I don't fucking know.
Well,
what
so
happened
that
to that green
remind me of
saber.
those sabers because one of the things I like about the end of Rise of Skywalker is I thought it was kind of a clever touch when she goes back to Luke's home on Tatooine with the two sabers for Luke and Leia, and she buries them, and it like kind of
Oh yeah,
mystically, magically kind of disappear into
That was
the
a great
soil.
ending.
And then they debut that she's created her own new gold lightsaber, which I thought was a sort of
I think,
badass.
I think it was. Isn't that supposed to represent neutral? Like you're not like.
maybe so. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I thought the yellow saber was more of a neutral. Like.
Right.
I know the
but
very
cool.
first Star Wars toy for Luke Skywalker and the Tatooine get up had a yellow saber.
Yeah. So no, you're right. Where did the green? What's the trajectory of the green saber?
I was gonna ask y'all. I was like, I don't know if anyone knows about it.
It turned up in the flashback sequences.
Yes.
when
Did he,
he was-
destroy it because he was so pissed off at himself that
Wouldn't
he,
be surprised with all the other bullshit.
But that was like but yeah, so that was like why did he have that and the like experimenting with that Force ghost like I'm going to send my being instead of myself and then he dies. It was kind of like
he should have turned up, dude.
it was a cool moment but the things I love about Last Jedi, that Snoke scene was unbelievable.
Yeah.
That,
Snoke
I mean,
was fucking. He might be the best CG,
yeah.
if not
Yes.
the best, one of the best full CG characters ever done.
Yeah, because I get nervous when I hear about characters that are going to be full CG and
They
stories.
nailed
that
it.
They really
Yeah.
did.
Fucking nailed it. He's very menacing.
Yeah.
He's very menacing. He did feel like an actual fucking threat.
Oh, yeah.
Like, can Luke take this motherfucker out?
Yeah.
And that's
agree.
what we
Oh,
maybe
yeah.
should have got, dude.
I agree.
We should have got. I wish it's like. I felt like some of the emotional investments were off in The Last Jedi. Like, you never got to see Luke mourn for Han. He just
Yeah.
said, "Where's Han?" And then you never saw it. And then like,
There's a great cut scene of that.
yeah. And then Poe, like he could give two shits that he got an entire bombing fleet killed. Like there were some moments where I
Yeah.
was like,
You'd think that would affect him
yeah,
more.
there was and I wonder if it's like an editing thing. It's like, did they kind of like
Did you say they cut scenes that involve Luke?
There is a really awesome, if you get The Last Jedi, like, it might even be on Disney Plus.
Yeah.
There's a cut scene of Luke, and there's a beautiful camera push of him emoting.
Oh, really?
And it's like you wonder why they didn't have it in, but I do understand why they did cut it out, because they had to like kind of cut automatically to Kylo. They're
Yeah,
like,
sure.
where's Han?
But also, given what we know about being strong with the Force and your friends, wouldn't Luke have felt it the moment Han died the same way
Leia did?
Leia noticed? And you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Or is, well, to be fair, isn't the whole point of what he's at there is he's, quote, cut himself off from the
Yes,
Force?
that's true.
Isn't that like
He might
kind
have
of
been
his
cut.
deal?
Speaking of Luke, like isn't that how he knew to go to Cloud Cities, because Vader was torturing Han? Like he could sense his pain, or did I just make that up as a kid?
No, he sensed his friend. He was doing
might be
rocks.
right.
He was balancing rocks with Yoda. Yoda's like, focus, and then he kept.
Oh, yes.
He kept. He's
I
like,
see
his
a
friend,
city in
yeah,
the
I see a city in the
clouds.
clouds. His
Han
friends
was
are in
like,
trouble.
they didn't even ask me
Yeah.
any questions.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
And
that's
he's like, why are these dickbags torturing me?
and I think that's like where the
Like
research,
they didn't even
yeah.
ask me anything.
Yeah, right.
Poor Han.
He's all fucking
Poor
crispy.
Han.
He's
He's just
trying to
getting
figure
all-
out why they're fucking
He's just
with
getting
him.
jacked over there in fucking Cloud City
It's
with
like,
his
I'm
buddy.
just trying to fucking bone this hot chick over here on my ship, and y'all motherfuckers are ruining
It's
this.
just been a really shitty day,
God
man.
damn it.
Just hanging
That
out.
was a rough one.
Fucking-
Meanwhile, Lando's all up here trying to get up
Dude,
in her. Like,
moving
this is
in.
ridiculous.
Yeah, Lindo has no fucking remorse.
No. I mean, and that's the thing. Rise, like Lando's little cameo, it wasn't that bad.
Yeah.
They didn't fuck that. I mean, it wasn't
No,
great.
It was.
But it was like, I mean,
So-
it clearly felt a little ham-fisted. Like,
Yeah.
let's drop this in to make everyone get a little warm and fuzzy for a second. But I guess what I'm saying is at least he didn't suddenly become a main character that he has to be involved with every detail now.
They did a good job for the most part for incorporating the OG characters, but making the focus on the new
Yeah.
characters.
Right.
But like again, I keep returning back to like the story. Like my main thing was like, why didn't you just have a plan?
Yeah.
And it's like we've gone through, Force Awakens. I was like, okay. Even last year, I was like, okay. But then when the Rise of Skywalker came out, I was just like, holy shit, guys. That's where I found it was like, okay, we kind of fudged our way this far, and now you really see the holes and the gaps in the story writing.
Which is crazy, right? I mean, how did they make that choice? Because clearly this is going to be the most anticipated series of movies arguably ever.
Yeah.
Limitless
It was the revamp.
resources.
It was the first.
Yeah.
It was the rise.
No
of-
shortage of fucking money to spend, so
No.
they could have hired anyone. The idea that they sat around, this is the moments that make my brain explode.
Yeah.
So imagine yourself at that table with Kathleen Kennedy and Abrams and all these people who are like basically concocting the future of the Star Wars franchise in this trilogy. Somewhere they all talked it through and came to the conclusion that let's just let each chapter be written and done by an individual, and they could do whatever they want and not be bound by any overarching story
Yeah,
arc.
we need to
I am
know.
baffled by that creative choice.
No, and
I'm
Dude,
not saying they shouldn't have any freedom within a story. You can like a different tone.
Yeah.
But you should have said,
You need an
hey, you
outline.
can do whatever you want, but like
Outline,
this has
yeah.
got to happen because this is going to happen later, and this
Yeah.
is kind of important to the story.
like, by the
arc.
way, Palpatine is coming
yeah,
back.
if they known that, they're good enough writers and movie makers. They could have made
So
it.
does
work.
that mean when they were writing the script for Force Awakens that they had no idea what was like? I'm sure.
Maybe.
I'm sure they must have had like some ideas.
I think they maybe did, but I just know, and maybe who knows with where you get your facts these days. From what I read, Ryan Johnson had no idea about Palpatine, and even Abrams didn't know. Like,
Well, the Palpatine thing feels, I have no idea, feels like they completely were just scrambling.
Well,
And
yeah.
like, what are we going to do? How about this is the bad guy, you
Yeah.
know? Because what else? I don't have any other explanation for it.
No, well, I think they needed a bad guy.
You
for,
could have a great time to foreshadow Palpatine would have been during the cave sequence in The Last Jedi.
Yeah. Yeah.
You could have just showed a hooded figure in the distance,
Yep.
and we would have been like, "Who the fuck's that?"
Yeah.
And then,
Something.
that's that crack, that motherfucker.
100% true.
Um,
Yeah, you're right. Because she's always getting her little whiffs of the dark side on
Yeah.
that island.
Yeah.
And there's never, and you'd think because of her bloodline that would pop up.
Yeah.
Like, it really, I mean, again, please chime in if someone's watching this and knows better, because I would be fascinated to know if there's ever been a mention in an interview or otherwise of when they cooked up the Rise of Skywalker plot, because it feels 100% after Lost Jedi.
Yes.
Or,
Well, dude,
excuse me, Last Jedi.
there was a
Maybe
dude, I forgot his
Freudian
name, Trevorrow.
Yeah, Colin Trevorrow.
He had a script. I
That's
mean,
right.
I think it's supposed to be on the internet. I haven't read it, but
I wonder if that's better, although I remember not necessarily jumping for joy that he was going to be
yeah, I
doing
was
the
like
third one.
to me that was a little bit of a like I don't know.
Well, didn't
'cause
he
I
work
really
in
don't
one of
like
those
that Jurassic
fucking
Park.
dog shit Jurassic Park movies? And I remember thinking that was like a disqualifier for
Oh, yeah.
me.
Yeah, those I didn't dig them.
Well, I know Ryan Johnson, when I was reading about it, like Ray's parents, he was just like, they were nobody. And then even Kylo Ren says it to her, your parents were nobody.
See, I always liked that. I actually thought
Yeah,
it was.
I'm down with it.
I thought thematically it was nice that not everyone has to be born into a
Yeah.
special bloodline. Even a random orphan can be. But of course, they ended up fucking that in the last one. And it's, nope, you got to be descended from somebody who's a
Yeah.
badass to be a badass.
Well, it's
No,
like,
I was down with that.
Yeah.
well, it's like, even like, there's just like little detail, like the love triangle between
That's-
everybody.
Yeah.
It's like, that's where I'm like, you guys really screwed up on the writing, because it's like, okay, you think, Ray and Finn got something going on, and then Finn and Rose got something going on, and then Ray and Poe got something going on, and then Finn and the Endor chick got something going on, and then
Rose.
and then Ren and Ray get together. It's like it was almost like,
totally scattershot.
and I don't know if I missed, maybe I missed it, but when they're sinking in the sand and Finn says,
Yes.
Oh yeah,
do we ever find out what he says?
I think he
I
was
think I-
probably gonna say "fucking I love you" or
That was the
"I'm force
implication.
sensitive."
One, it's interesting. You're
They
right.
fucking blew it with him, dude. He
Yeah.
started off
He
like
was such a
he
cool
could have like
character.
had
Yeah.
a great arc, and maybe it could have been like
didn't they
a
clearly-
force sensitive dude.
Yeah. Well, didn't they foreshadow that in Force? I mean, that's kind of what I was saying about how much do we think they knew when they were writing The Force Awakens? Because remember that whole thing, like, so what's your story? You got a boyfriend? Got a boyfriend? Like, it's clear that he's kind of got a thing for her, which is to be expected in that environment. But by the time the movie's over and he's injured or whatever, and she says, "I'll come back for you," you felt like this was going to be the love story of the trilogy. And again, Star Wars is simple. There should only be one love story, and it shouldn't be a triangle and this, that, and the other. Just let it. The challenges will be the fact that the fucking world is ending around them, but the relationship is part of what anchors them. And of course, like you said, it turned into a fucking. And then it was like, is Poe into Ray? I don't know. And then it's like,
when he came out, I was like, damn, Ray and Poe getting together. And then when she kissed, I'll call him Ben because he was, came back at that point. I was like, what? I didn't see that one coming.
well, the second they do that scene where they're talking through the Force for the first time, and it's like he whipped out his fucking pecs for the first time, and all of a
check this
sudden
out.
it's like, oh fuck. So here's the deal. She's looking at fucking Adam Driver's tall, dark, handsome ass,
bod.
Yeah.
and now it's gonna turn into this.
I mean,
whole
if you're
fucking
going
vibe.
that far, dude, just take your fucking pants off, dude.
Yeah.
Like, come on, man.
This
if you're
is all
gonna
of
go
me.
for it, if we're really fucking
He's like, "Can you put
subverting
something
expectations,
on?" It's like, oh,
get some like
This is
some,
not a Star Wars
like
moment.
a Sith
What's
jockey
happening?
strap or something.
Yeah, right. I know. That was weird. I had a few other notes for Rise, just like small things that were good. Like, remember Babu Frick? That was a fun little
Yeah, it was cool,
side
man.
character. Even the Carrie Russell character was sort of just enough to be interesting. I didn't need any more development for her than I did. It was kind of cool
Yeah,
to
she's
know
also
that her
pretty.
and Poe had a thing back
Oh,
in
yeah.
the day. Like, that kind of made sense.
And 3PO was fucking hilarious.
oh, yeah.
In Rise of
Yeah.
Skywalker. I
Yeah.
thought.
Probably the most he's gotten to act.
I mean, like
Yeah,
there was
totally.
moments, 3PO moments, like where he's saying some stupid shit and they all look back at him and then he does like a turn, like, what are we looking at?
Yeah.
Like, and there were so many moments. Like, 3PO was hilarious.
Felt like Star Wars.
It felt like Star and
Yeah.
like, and it's so funny. It's like even after I watched the whole trilogy, the sequel trilogy, I was like, okay, all right, other than story, could have been excellent. And then I went back and watched A New Hope,
Yeah.
and I started watching, and I was like, oh. And when you go do that, you realize, like how good the original trilogy is,
Yeah.
and B, how overcomplicated they made.
Yeah,
It's very complicated.
Like
It's
sim-
keep it
like,
simple, stupid.
It's and I know the Star Wars world, because George Lucas, I mean, God bless the guy. He's got all these rules and all these like stipulations that come with the world. So it is, as I can imagine, as a writer, like kind of handcuffing yourself and like, well, people aren't gonna like that. But again, it's like, if you are gonna do this, and they almost did it, they should have had a story. Like Star Wars, the OG trilogy is considered one of the greatest films, or like of all time. It's like, you don't remake The Godfather, you don't remake
Yeah.
these classic movies. There's a reason why we haven't seen a new Gone with the Wind. There's a reason why we don't see a new Godfather. It's because they're cinematic masterpieces, and Star Wars is on that list of cinematic masterpieces.
Truly is.
Yeah.
So when you're doing these things, treat it as such, please. As a fan of films, like I don't go to the movies. I don't go to the movies a lot. The only movies I go to see in the theater, and without fail, is Star Wars.
Yeah.
And most people do. And most of us Star Wars fans,
Yeah.
even if we don't even want to watch it.
I mean, come on, let's get real. I didn't like Solo.
That's the only one I didn't see.
I guess is that true?
I saw the trailer, and I was like, nope. And it's like,
You've watched it since,
I've
just not in the
watched
theater.
it.
Yeah, okay.
But I don't care how good the story is. You don't fuck with
I
Han
mean, I
Solo.
agree
No
with
one
you.
is
Yeah.
as cool or as badass as Harrison Ford.
It didn't need to
you
happen.
you cannot put someone in that place.
It's
and
telling that I have watched that movie only one time since it was in the theaters, and we inevitably at some point in our year or whatever was like, I'm gonna watch Star Wars trilogy. I never watched that shit. There's no part of me that wants to include that in the series of movies that you're gonna watch.
I
when
like
you
the
wanna
way it was
revisit.
lit. There's some moments, but
I mean, it
did
looked-
not,
yeah.
it was a feel like
it
again,
did not need to.
I mean,
be
Ron
made.
Howard's a fucking great filmmaker. You know,
Yeah.
that's not like
They
But he's
ditched
not
those
Harrison
one
Ford.
cats. I forgot their name. Lord,
Chris Lord or the guys
Is it-
that did
is
the
it
Lego
Lord and-
movie.
Lord and something.
I keep wanting to say Chris Lord Alge. He's the
It's not Lord
mixer.
and Taylor, is it?
I'm not sure.
I can't remember, but they're supposedly badasses.
They
And I
are
think, wasn't
badasses.
the issue that they were kind of making it a little too playful
Maybe.
and they wanted it to stay a little bit gritty? I think that's what it was. Because it was creative differences was like the
Yeah.
core problem.
I
Like they
love-
wanted to go in a direction, and Kathleen Kennedy was like, "Nah, dog, this is not what we're doing."
I think the story could have been perfect. And
I think,
it wouldn't
man,
because it's not Harrison Ford.
it's not about. If it's about money, don't worry as much about getting the movies out fast or on time.
Yeah,
Just take your fucking time.
yeah,
Yep.
Like, even if The Last Jedi hadn't come out yet, like if it comes out tomorrow and it's a little bit closer to perfect,
yep.
you're gonna sell more toys if it's about money. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? People
Yeah.
are gonna. The investment is not to get the movie out. The investment is to keep people invested.
Yes.
Yeah, right. And they can hype that shit for like 6 to 12 months before it's even going to come out.
Some of the most exciting Star Wars times is the time in between those
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah.
Everyone, I'm sitting there checking the
Clamoring
interweb,
for
talking
fucking
about
information. When's the trailer
kinda-
going to drop? All that
when's
shit.
that trailer dropping? When is there a fucking leak?
We
Yeah.
know
On the
that,
web.
I think that says a lot about kind of today's world. It's like, you see footage of movies before they're even done filming them. It's like,
Yeah.
Yeah,
and it's like, I hate that aspect. Everyone wants something now. It's like, well, have you seen the, set photos leaked or some hidden scenes? And even when I went to go see a movie recently, I was watching trailers like this, my ears covered and eyes closed, because it's like trailers are so involved now. It's like you just showed me the whole damn
I know.
movie.
I mean, I have to watch a Star Wars trailer if it comes out. I'm just that much of a crackhead. But
those are fun.
I also know for a fact that my experience watching them would have been so much better if I never
Yeah.
watched one of the trailers. Because even just knowing, for example, that Rey flies the Millennium Falcon, from the trailer. But if you didn't know that, those moments when she first gets in
Yeah.
it would be so much more impactful because you're like, what? Oh shit! Like that surprise moment would feed into what you're already experiencing to the point where it's like part of me wants to just try to be that disciplined and say no more trailers, but
You
Yeah.
gotta watch it. They're so exciting.
crackheads, you gotta
Trailers
watch 'em.
they're fucking amazing at making
Yeah,
trailers.
they do a good job with the
That
trailers.
Phantom Menace trailer is even fucking good.
Yeah, I remember I watched that shit. I was so fucking
Remember we had to
devolving
download it
prequels.
or something.
Total unrelated side note. I just watched the Stranger Things 4 trailer that
I
came
saw
out
that,
last
yeah.
week.
I
Holy
didn't see it.
fucking balls.
What's
they're,
wrong?
they're just going for it. It's like
Yeah.
going real big picture, real dark. And I guess it's coming. I don't know why I'm doing this, but a quick aside. It's coming out in 2 chunks. So season 4 comes out in 2 volumes, one next month in May and another one in July.
I like it.
And then they've already said the 5th season is it. So they're already, even the trailer's referencing the beginning of the
I like
end.
a hard cap.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's only relevant because I feel like outside of Star Wars in the last 20, 30 years, I kind of feel like it's a different medium, of course, as a series, but in terms of a series that has stuck to its own rules and sentiment and spirit and characters that you're emotionally involved in addition to crazy action sequences, I kind of feel like Stranger Things is the only thing that's come out that has that spirit of Star Wars, where you have these characters that you genuinely are emotionally invested in, but there's also these crazy set pieces with monsters and fucking explosions and action sequences. And as we all know, those things work so much better when you are emotionally invested in whether or not these people are going to make it out of these situations. Like, imagine any of those Star Wars battles. Like, would you have cared as much if it wasn't Lando and the Falcon at the end of Return of the Jedi?
Gotta have those stakes.
Come on, you know.
Speaking of Lando,
seen Stranger Things.
Benicio del Toro, or I'm pronouncing his name wrong because I'm just a little off in general. That would have been a great character for Lando.
Yeah.
But like, I got a motherfucker.
That's an interesting.
And he is a true motherfucker.
Yeah.
And he will take care of your shit.
The idea there, though, that I would imagine,
and he would even be at a casino.
Yeah, but if you're fleshing that out,
give me that money.
If you do that, though, you're basically saying that post Jedi, Lando went back to being like an underworld guy, and it seems pretty clear that he's like a rebellion hero.
Han went back to his old bullshit ways.
Yeah, that's true.
Got these fucking whatever bath tars, whatever.
Yeah.
I didn't really dig those bath tars, but whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
You're right. That wasn't the best moment.
But like, who cares?
Yeah.
Damn it, my feed keeps going off.
I mean, I guess, and just recap of all, I love the new characters.
Yep.
I wish the OGs got a little more. And it's like, I think that's what I was most excited about when the sequels came out, was like, we finally get to see, because I felt like, you know, the arc of the original trilogy, you only kind of see Luke kind of kick ass in the return. And even then he kind of like puts his saber down and says, no, I won't fight him. So it's like, for me, it was like, man, we're going to get to see Luke Skywalker rip it up.
I will hang out in Canto Bight as long as you fucking ask me to, as long as you fucking let Luke whoop somebody's ass at the end. And just fucking cut the fucking legs off those stupid ass walkers.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the fucking kick the dirt off your shoulder, JC.
And I hated that. I was like, fine. And I was so excited for it. And I was just like, come on. Like,
whoop his ass, Luke.
Yeah.
Get that stupid ass Chuck Norris beard off.
Yeah, I remember in the theater when we watched it, thinking like, "What the fuck is Walker Texas Ranger doing here? Like, what happened? He stopped by the barbershop on the way.
Get that goddamn X-wing out of the fucking ocean."
I mean, I guess the idea in hindsight is that's how you know it's not really him.
Yes,
I guess that was probably.
But they ended up pulling the fucking thing out of the ocean in the next series.
Well, it's crazy how it's like, you know,
that's
and maybe
true.
Leia knows, like,
I was like, yeah, you're right.
She's able.
You're not wrong.
She's able to touch Luke and feel him, like hold his hand, but he's invisible to every. And
it's
so there's some like
continuity problems for sure.
Who the fuck even knows?
One note that I did write, just real quick on something that I thought was fucking great, is that scene with Yoda and Luke. They fucking crushed that scene. Where Yoda's he's back to his sort of like wisecrack, smart ass self, and he's like, the Jedi text. Page turners they are. Read them you have. And it's like the Jedi text. And he's like, fuck those books.
Yeah. Of all the shit that could have gone wrong, they nailed it.
They got
good job. Totally. Way to use the puppet. Totally. Frank Oz, you're my dad.
Still got it.
Honestly, that fucking line from a screenwriting standpoint when he talks about, you know, I can't remember exactly
failure.
That failure is like the most, like sometimes what a master can do the most effective is to fail.
Yeah.
And that was a really beautiful bookend to the sort of Jedi teaching philosophy that they've instilled in 6 movies.
Dude,
And they really crushed it with that.
That's when you get that green lightsaber out and whoop somebody's fucking ass. Even though I understand how that might not be a Luke thing to do.
Totally.
Yeah.
But, you know, we needed it.
He could have pulled an Obi-Wan. Like, he kind of did pull an Obi-Wan, but like he could have done it in the flesh.
Let me ask you this, which could maybe be our outro thought or question.
He did pull a fucking Obi-Wan.
Do we think, and sub-question, do we want for there to be more stories involving Rey and Finn and Poe in the future? So I guess it's 2-parter. One, I'm not hip. If anyone else out there knows, comment. Have there been any murmurs at all as to whether or not they're going to do that? And then let's just say they are. Do we want them to?
I personally, like I said, I loved the characters.
Yeah.
The only thing I think that ruined the characters was the bad, not bad. I don't even say it's bad writing, because there was good writing moments. It was just not the grand scheme.
Right.
Have an idea. And I do feel like they kind of got dumped on a little bit on
Yeah.
that because it's
Yeah.
like like you said, I
Yeah.
was invested in all of them. I thought they were all.
Yeah.
I loved Finn. Rose, I thought she kind of came out of left field.
Kind of
I don't know
agree.
where the fuck she came from.
Yeah.
No offense to the actress.
Yeah,
She's fucking.
She's
She actually
cool.
did a really good job with the character.
She should have
Yeah.
died after she said that line, though.
That'd have been
Agreed.
cool.
She should have just
100%
died.
agree.
And I was like, she's still alive. And that happened too many times. Where
I
it's
think
like
they fucked up
they're
Poe,
died,
man.
but no, they're still alive.
Yeah.
But I would be interested in it.
I'd watch it.
I'd watch it. Yeah. Again, I'm not gonna not watch it, but I feel it sucks because I feel like they did such a good job. They did their jobs perfectly.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything wrong, in my
Yeah.
opinion. I think they got screwed by them not having a grand scheme
Yeah.
story. And I
Agreed.
don't know if that's just because I know how Abrams is. Like that's maybe it's his ego. He did the same thing with Lost. Like he was just like, I'm just gonna
Yeah.
write as I
Winging
go.
it now.
I'm that good.
right.
He's a great filmmaker. He's a great writer. But
He's good.
I'm
that's
torn.
a good point because
I'm
it's like
torn.
I love the characters.
I'm not like stoked about it, but I
No.
would watch it.
I would, of course, watch it. I think the concern I have is the same thing because I like them. Don't fuck it up.
Yeah.
I'm more afraid that they would not crush it. And if they did worse than they did in this, that I don't really trust them. No, however, at this stage, it would mean Favreau and Filoni
Yep.
would be the ones overseeing a story
Is that
arc.
true?
And I think they're just because Kathleen Kennedy's on her way out and they're handing over the entire franchise vision to those guys.
Okay, well that makes me
I
happy.
trust them.
Yeah. So
I
if-
really dig the Mandalorian.
Totally. So
Yeah.
in the context of those guys, like I don't think they'd make the same mistake that Kennedy did initially, where they wouldn't have a pre-planned multiple film story arc.
Fuck it, remake the sequels. Who gives a
Like
shit?
I said, I thought that was a rumor. I thought like they were going to like just say this isn't.
Yeah,
canon.
but they'd have
but
to
they
wait.
can't do that.
I mean, they gotta
They-
wait like a decade or two. before
Well,
they
it's
can do that, right?
2022, man. Who gives
I
a
thought
shit?
Kathleen
Trump
Kennedy-
was our president.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
rules.
That's true. All fucking bets are off.
Fuck
You're
it,
right.
man. Y'all want to make some money?
Or do you think
Take
with
our
the-
notes.
Do we think eventually
Invite
this,
us in.
the series is gonna, or fuck, maybe that's what they do. Maybe it's because now you can just do like an 8-episode story arc for a one-off, and it's the same production value as a fucking movie.
I feel like series
Yeah.
are where things
Maybe
Series
are
that's
is-
the
heading.
move.
It's the problem, and plus they want people to subscribe to Disney Plus.
Yeah.
I guess I just wonder what the next Star Wars movie experience is going to be, and if it's not going to be involving these characters, are they going to write new ones? Are we going to
It's a
pull
good
movies
question, dude.
out of the series and try to put them on the big screen, or is that what's going to differentiate the sequel trilogy characters from the series? Is these characters exist largely in films? They might show up at time and again, depending on the timeline in a series moment, but for the most part, these are movie
Yeah.
characters.
Well, and it's also takes place, like I said, 30 years
Yeah,
after.
that's the problem.
30
here.
years.
Mando is like
It's a Return of the Jedi.
right
Yes,
after Return
area.
of the Jedi.
Yeah, right.
Even like Obi-Wan series, that's right
Yeah.
before.
Oh yeah,
New
that's
Hope.
coming up, y'all.
I don't know when.
They're filming it now. I just read something
I don't
about
know
that.
What are
what
they filming?
timeline she's in.
The homegirls, Rosario Dawson's Osaka.
I'm
right
assuming
on.
she's gonna
Can't say her
be.
fucking name.
I'm
Ahsoka,
assuming
I
that's
think.
gonna be after the Clone Wars. What happens to her? Type.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it would be interesting to see what the story would be because they have not. It's
Yeah.
It's a bold thing. Like I said, all the series we love now, like The Mandalorian and all that. That's kind of in a timeline. I think maybe easier to write.
Yeah.
I think they're kind of in that sweet spot where it's still that old school feeling. So, but it would be interesting to see. Okay, the First Order is done.
Yeah.
The Emperor's finally dead. Maybe.
That motherfucker.
From a
what
gro-
happens
yeah.
now?
From a
That
gross
son of a bitch
business
has to be
standpoint.
dead.
Yeah, from a gross business standpoint, they created this great new female hero
Yes.
that is primed and ready, young enough to where.
A Ray series would be cool.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. Like they've
I'd be
got
into a
this
Rey
great
series.
concept and character they've created. It seems hard to believe that they're never going to pick up that ball again.
They'd have to pay her though. She's probably done with it.
No, she was stressed. I mean, I remember because I guess she had some like weight fluctuation. I think in the Last Jedi, and like she was just like, I'm the stress that this franchise
only
is
imagine.
putting
Oh,
on me
really?
is she's like it's bothering me.
All
and
these
and I felt
Star Wars
awful for her.
weirdos knowing your name and shit.
Yeah, and it's just like they're probably shitting all over her and like just.
I have one
Anyway,
question.
So yeah, so
for
we'll
both of
see.
y'all.
So it sounds like we would all be open to them doing these characters again. There's probably some apprehension about how they would execute, but otherwise, if we woke up tomorrow and it's like announcement sequel trilogy,
Yeah.
we would probably
What would it
cautiously
be 10, 11,
Yeah.
12.
cautiously high five each other.
Yeah.
basically.
I think, keep it simple, stupid. Like
Yeah.
just like, story. It's like, I think in recapping of our episode about the sequel trilogy,
Yep.
unbelievably shot movies.
Yep.
Great
Felt
scenes,
good.
felt
Yeah.
awesome, looked awesome. One hiccup.
You
was
hippies got to have a fucking plan.
You gotta have a plan.
No shit.
Fucking
What's
hell.
the plan?
Let me ask you
Yeah.
a question, guys.
Yeah.
And I don't even think they should do this.
Yeah.
But what if they were like, listen, we kind of fucked up.
Yeah.
We actually, there's some, I don't even want to tell you what was going on behind the scenes, but we really, obviously the plan wasn't, we didn't really have a plan.
Yeah.
Would you guys be open to us to actually fleshing out a plan and maybe redoing these flicks and maybe making a little bit more continuity, like a special edition? I don't even really think they should do it, but what would you guys think if they said that?
Be an incredibly
If they were like,
hard sell.
we blew it.
or-
it's 2022.
I mean,
we're-
I would love it just because so many things didn't work, but I think the danger is it's like you just said, so much of it does work.
Can
that
you
if
fuck it up?
if they fuck
They can
up
fuck
the
up
things they got right,
But at least now they can actually have a test. This is the test screening.
yeah, you're
Yeah.
right.
The stakes would be high because there's
Stakes are fucking always high with
the
these
stakes are
goddamn
always-
Star
and
Wars
they-
flicks.
and like I said, it does frustrate me when I see like when Star Wars things come out. I'm just like, do you guys know what you're doing?
Yeah.
Do you guys know, like, I don't care if you have other commitments. It's like, if you're doing this, do it right. Like,
Yeah.
don't make it a money-making thing.
Favreau seems to know.
Yes.
It's
he
gonna
knows.
say it's easier to imagine that working now that Favreau and Filoni are sort of
Yes.
the geniuses overseeing everything now.
But listen, Favreau, your fucking money.
Yeah,
but
right.
Don't spread yourself too thin.
Yeah. 100%.
This fucking Book of Boba Fett shit, dude.
Yeah.
Awful.
Keep it tight.
Yeah.
Keep it tight,
Got
Favreau.
went a little soft there, a little flaccid on that one.
I mean, you're fucking money, and you know it.
Yeah.
But don't spread yourself
Don't,
too thin.
there's still a bed to shit if you're not careful.
Yes.
Yeah, you can blow this up. You can fuck this up.
All right. Well, this was good. Sequel trilogy.
Feeling good about it.
Good chat. I liked it, guys.
Yeah.
You know what you got to do if you watch this. You should like it.
And
It
subscribe.
helps
Dig it.
us with the fucking bullshit algorithm that we're all slaves to. We are slaves to the algorithm. Like it. Subscribe. More good stuff coming. Let's fucking do this.
Cool.
Catch you next time.
If you guys are cool with it, I'm gonna flip the light speed.
Fucking
All right, hit it.
punch it.